This will be the 5th Dragon Age video I've made, and I've come to recognize that unlike the Elder Scrolls universe, which has a fair amount of coverage when it comes to the lore, Dragon Age does not. So I've decided to do kind of a 2-in-1, if that makes sense, where I'm going to be doing a brief overview and summarization of the Kingdoms of Thedas and talk about recent events that might be going on and affecting it for those who are already familiar with the universe. But those who are perhaps not familiar with the Dragon Age universe, this video is intended to be an introduction to what Thedas is. So with that, we're just going to jump right into it. We will start with the humble state of Ferelden. As a relatively new kingdom, Ferelden is located in southeastern Thedas. It was formed by King Calenhad after the Alamari peoples united. In more recent times, they just regained their freedom from Orlais, having spent the last 78 years under their occupation. There are few possibilities on who can rule Ferelden, as it's a decision that can be made in Dragon Age Origins. However, BioWare has provided everyone with the ability to add their own personal choices in. However, in this instance, we're going to use BioWare's default storyline, and that has the Grey Warden and bastard son of Merrick Theron, Alistair, marry the wife of his deceased half-brother, Honora, and become king. They're a culture of agrarian peoples who have a society where the nobles and earls that reside within the area have big castles, but outside of that, they don't really typically have that many cities. The exception of this comes from their capital of Denerim, which is massive. Having said all of this, the people of Ferelden are a very hardy people, and they're not ones to be taken lightly. Just west is Orlais, and the Orlesians possess the strongest nation in all of Thedas, but that isn't necessarily saying much in their current predicament right now. They were founded by Cordelius Draken in their capital of Valrio, and they are somewhat of a theocratic monarchy as they champion the Chantry. It's currently ruled by Empress Selene, and right now Orlais is embroiled in a bloody civil war against the Empress's cousin, Grand Duke Gaspard de Chalon, and the leader of the Chevalier. Orlais is a very rich country. They champion the arts like music, painting, and architecture, and yet they do have somewhat of a superiority complex among them. They can appear somewhat pompous or snobbish, if those who are not familiar with Orlesian culture are aware of. They do have somewhat of a I'm better than you mentality. When we go north of Orlais, we do have the big country of Anderfell, and they birthed the Grey Wardens and originally broke from Tevinter for their independence. They are a monarchy, but not much is known about who rules or governs their country. Their capital is Haussburg, and their culture is largely identified with the Grey Wardens, and they're incredibly self-sufficient. Now, there isn't much known about Anderfell today, though. Sandwiched between Anderfell and Orlais, we have Navarra, and they are a very wealthy country. Founded by King Damartes in the capital of Navarra City, they have spent most of their present day rebuilding, as in the 8th Age, dragons devastated the countryside. They are currently ruled by Marcus Pentagast, who has questionable sanity at best, and his heir, Ferdinand, is also old as well, and has very little interest in governing the country, and essentially he doesn't really have any heirs that we are aware of, so the Pentagast line is somewhat in trouble here. In northern Thedas, we have the somewhat collapsing Tevinter Imperium. They're ruled by an oligarchy of magisters, and at the head of it is an imperial archon. They're the oldest human nation, and yet they do have a very troubled history of oppression, slavery, human sacrifice, and blood magic. They're prideful of their history and accomplishments, but this has also led them to be unable to move past the past. Their capital is in Mithrinus, and their current leader is Archon Radinus, and right now Tevinter has just been invaded by the Qunari, which we'll get to in a little bit later, because when we cover the Qunari itself. Finally, we start going east, we get Antiva. They're a fledgling trade state based out of Antiva City. Nice name there. They're the wealthiest nation in all of Thedas and are full of vineyards and wine, alcohol, you name it. They're a plutocracy, meaning that the wealthy elite rule. Being on the coastline, they're highly adept sailors, and as of the 9th era, Antiva is in the midst of a civil war. To the northeast, on the peninsula, we have Ravane, and they are based out of their capital of Dairs Muid. The Ravani people are hardworking, but as of recent times, they are under a lot of religious persecution by those of the Chantry. They maintain peaceful Elvish and Kunari relations, and perhaps have the only peaceful Kunari relationship out of all of these kingdoms we'll talk about here. Outside of being a monarchy, not much is known about them right now, especially considering that how things are going with their religious persecutions, when most recently they have had the Circle of Magi disbanded there. North of Ravane is an island called Par-Valon. Its capital is Kunandar, and it serves as the largest home for the Kunari. Few outsiders are allowed in Par-Valon, so it's difficult to know how their society is. The Kunari most recently have conquered the largest island in Thedas called Shirin, and this is done as they conquered it from Tevinter, so there is currently a war going on between the two of them itself. We have, at last, the Free Marches, and they are a confederation of city-states. Every city within within the Free Marches is completely independent from one another, and whenever times get kind of tough or troubled events occur, the generals, leaders, kings, rulers, whoever it is that is governing these nations, I should say, these small city-states, come together to make decisions on what to do. The Confederation consists of major cities like Starkhaven, Kirkwall, Wycombe, and Hercynia. As of recent events, the most recent things that are going on is the Mage-Templar war that is occurring, and as of recently, they also had an influx of refugees come in from the Fifth Blight that just happened. Out of all the nations we have talked about, since they are located in central Thedas, they are perhaps the most diverse of all the countries we have talked about today, and this has led to a blend of nearly every single culture we've talked about a little bit, or gave a brief overview about today. But essentially, that is it. Expect in the near future, as I don't know if it's going to be within this city because I haven't decided on what I'm going to do as of recording this video. I will have probably already thought of it by the time this series is coming out. But I will be doing more videos on, more in-depth analysis and videos on about these nations. So these are just brief overviews. So if any of these interested you, please leave a comment below which one you would like to see first. Because if I have not already covered it, I would like to know if I should cover it soon. But I will get to all of these nations at one point or another because their histories are fascinating. But with that, I hope you all enjoyed. This has been a brief overview, and I hope to see you all in the Discord chat. The link is in the description below. If you guys have any topics, just remember these are going to be coming out in 8-episode increments. I don't know how long it'll be between these 8 episodes, but if you want something covered that either I haven't covered yet, just comment it below, and I will respond telling you whether or not I've actually covered it, or if it's going to be something I'll be doing, regardless of which. I will get back to you, and I will want to know what you guys want to see in the future. So, with that, I hope to see you in the next video. Peace. If you enjoyed, please like this video because it really lets me know you're enjoying this content. And if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. The links are right here for you to click on, and the Discord chat link is right here as well. And overall, I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope to see you in the next video. Peace.